All right, all right. Welcome to the Strong Side podcast. My name's Mitchel Black, and I'm your host. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Coach Kayleigh. Now, Coach Kayleigh isn't super new here, but it is the first time I've done a one-on-one interview with her on our podcast, and I think it's just going to be a great opportunity for you to get to know her. I've enjoyed getting to know Coach Kayleigh for a while. We were talking in the pre-show. She got some pretty funny stories and pretty interesting deals that I think we're going to cover. But remember, this is live. So for all of you guys watching on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can comment, and we will answer. You got any questions for Coach Kayleigh? And other than that, man, we're just gonna get rolling. Maybe you give us a 5-star on Apple Music. That'd be cool too.
What?
Yeah. But yeah, man. How you doing, Coach Kayleigh?
Hey, I'm good. I'm here.
Get a little closer.
Ready to chat.
The mics are weird. I know.
They are just a little weird, but hey, it's okay.
So how you doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
Got some coaching in this morning, and
You did. You hit 3 classes?
I hit 3.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. And this was your first day playing the PVC pipe game.
It was.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
It was a success.
Yeah. Good.
I'm not sure if we should ask the members about that, but
No,
we'll leave it at that.
It was super fun. We play like all these warm-up games here, and Holly says hi. Remember, you can comment.
Holly.
And,
what's up, girl?
We play all these cool games here, and it's a fun way to like get the class going and all that. So yeah, you coach for sure. You coach Monday, Wednesday morning,
Yes.
the first 3, right? And that's all you're on the schedule. But
For now.
and you're gonna be at Roswell.
I'll be at Roswell.
Whoop whoop. Yeah,
So excited about that.
we're gonna have that schedule done within like 2 weeks.
Exciting.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that.
So many things.
Well, I'm excited to get. We did like this pre-show rehearsal, and because our show's so fancy here, we have
We
to
are
rehearse.
very sophisticated.
And I already learned a couple things about you, so I'm excited to learn and the members to learn. The first thing I want to ask you about is I've kind of known somewhat about this, but I feel like you're really going to give us the whole story.
Okay.
You have a garden.
I do.
Talk to us about this garden. You're a
Yes.
gardener.
So the hubby, I've always been like, I want this garden. I want this garden. I've been super annoying to him about it because that's what wives do. They just annoy their husbands. So he built the plans for me, and then we built the garden together. And right now I have butternut squash. I have blueberries, peppers, zucchinis. Yeah, we got a lot going on.
That's like a farmer's market.
I feel
That's
like
more
I'm
than
Joanna Gaines when I'm in my garden.
That's funny. Do you have a she shed?
Yeah, that's my
No.
she shed. I need to name her. I don't have a name for her yet, but
All right.
eventually.
Do you have a gardening hat?
No, I need to get one.
We'll get you a strong side gardening
Okay,
hat. That'd be
I
kind of
dig.
cool. So what does that look like? Like do you grow all this stuff and then like what, make a salad or really?
Yeah, so I mean, it can take up to a year. Like my blueberries didn't produce last year. It took a full year for that to produce. And then my butternut squash, I've never grown those before, so that's been interesting. It's taken several months for them to grow, but they're about this big right now.
How
You
big
just
do
need
they
a
get?
They're gonna get like that big.
Oh wow.
So just a few more weeks for that to produce, but yeah, I'm excited.
So in a few weeks they go from placenta size
Oh
to
my
football.
gosh, you would be absolutely surprised. You check on them one day, they're like this little, and then the next thing, like literally like massive. So yeah, been super fun with my garden.
Huh. So and is there a difference between like squash and butternut squash?
There are so many differences between them.
What are
Yeah, you have your zucchini. You can like saute that. You have your yellow squash. That's also like something you'd saute. And then butternut squash, I like to make soups and stuff out of that, and you can roast that as well.
So with your gardening, are you somewhat of a chef connoisseur?
Oh yeah, I
really.
love being in the kitchen, 100%. That's why I got so inspired about this garden and being so passionate about that.
So you were cooking, and then you were like, no. The convenience
wanna-
of going to the grocery store and having everything already made for me is terrible. I'm gonna go spend a whole bunch of money and open a garden in my
Yes.
backyard.
And it's so much more fun that way too. You make connections with your food you're eating, and then there's just more nutrient dense that way too. Like I'm
That is very true.
composting in there as well. So yeah, I got some superfood veggies and growing in there.
First off, nutrition coach Bree would be very happy to hear
Yes,
superfoods.
I'm sure.
And that's just, I can't imagine what you just said. I have a connection with my food.
I do.
I've never had
I
a
picked
connection.
that. I cut it. I grew it. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. What do you think is what's the hardest thing to grow? Like what dies most often if you don't take care of it?
My peppers. Sometimes I'll have so many, and then this year they really haven't produced as much, so that's been a little disappointing.
And is it produced like, there's a bunch of them, or produced like size?
Oh yeah, a lot. So like they'll be like, they're a lot smaller than what you typically see in the grocery store, but that's because I'm not like spraying them down with chemicals and all that. So you'll see like holes bitten out of it from like little birds getting in there and eating them, and yeah.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, but like, so you said, I mean, that's true. You're not putting all the chemicals and pesticides and stuff on yours. So like, have you ever grown, like I have a buddy that has a farm, and he has all these chickens. And when his chickens lay eggs, they're like, all different colors.
Yeah.
They're all different sizes. He's like, they're the most natural.
I love that. I want chickens.
Right? Okay.
I really do.
And so what do you see? Like, what have you noticed growing your own vegetables, your own peppers, where you're like, dude, that's way different?
The
Does it
taste?
taste? Yeah, I was gonna ask you if it tastes better.
It's probably not as flavorful, to be quite honest with you, but hey. Oh, look at all the comments.
Oh, you got a ton of
They're
comments.
so popular. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, StrongSide Farmers Market.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Bree.
So, all right, so I can get that, like the
Yeah.
taste and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, you just really see how much they manipulate the food that you're buying in the grocery store. So I think for me, that like really creeps me out.
Like, talk about that. What do you mean?
Like they're spraying stuff on it so it tastes a certain way. So when you're eating it yourself, you're like, this tastes nothing like what it tastes like in the grocery store. So they're manipulating everything.
Well, they have to, because
Yeah.
if I'm trying to sell apples, I need to like make sure that my customer
Right.
tastes the same apple every time. So they have
Exactly.
certainty in my brand that my apples. So as an apple salesman, I would do everything in my power to make sure
Right.
that every bite of an apple tastes exactly like every apple, or you're not going to buy my apples anymore.
Right.
I'm going to GMO the bananas out of it.
Word.
That's right. I mean, I don't sell apples, but if I was going to sell apples,
Right.
did somebody just honk the
I heard
horn
that.
in the middle of this podcast?
Yes. You heard
Don't-
it first, guys. You
Don't they
heard it
know?
first.
Don't they know we have a podcast right now? All right.
Oh, Jimmy John's.
All right. Well, so you got a garden, and I didn't learn the severity of the garden until right now, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And what do you grow again? Is it 5 things, 6 things?
It's like 5 things right now.
That's cool.
So
What do you
it's
want
getting a
to?
bit out of hand right now, but
What's a lot?
like, well, it depends how big it is. So a lot would probably be if I finished out the section. So I have like a full like other 12 feet that I can build out
Okay,
to continue growing more. So
that's gnarly.
it's
Cool,
pretty fun.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait
You
to.
guys learned all about my garden.
Yeah. All right. And then, so I learned that a couple minutes ago. And then number 2 is you had such a neat story of how you met your husband.
Yes,
So,
I did.
well, I should say how you met your husband, how your husband wound up marrying you.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty funny. All right. So you how long have you guys been married?
We are coming up on 5 years in September.
Shut up. Me too. High five. What,
I can't believe he survived this
no,
long
we're
with me.
we're 4. Yeah. I guess you got married a year before. September what?
18th.
Oh, we're the 9th.
Oh my
Pretty
gosh,
close. Good month though.
weird.
Yeah. So all right. So how'd you meet your husband?
Okay, so I worked out at this gym in Marietta, and the coach was always telling me, you have got to meet my brother, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no. I've heard this before, been set up in the past, like, I'm not interested. It's never turned out good for me. But I saw him one day, and I thought it was the coach. And I was like, oh, what up? You know, just like chit-chatting away like I knew him. And he's like, who is this girl? And he eventually slid into those DMs, and, you know, I was always like, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's what you told me. You
Yeah.
said you were always like, nope.
No thanks. Nice knowing ya. But he was persistent. He kept at it, and yeah, it just went from there.
What? So, and you said, I didn't know this either. You were living in Georgia, and he was what, down here visiting?
He was in New Jersey just visiting for a business trip. And so we started long distance from day one. So that was, I've never experienced anything like that. And if you haven't been in a long distance relationship, you really don't appreciate the relationship as much. You know, because I had friends complaining like, oh, my boyfriend's being such a
Whatever.
butthole.
Yeah.
Let's keep it PG, guys, PG. And, you know, complaining like, oh, he's not texting me back. And I'm just like, I can't even see my boyfriend right
Yeah,
now.
mine's in Jersey.
Mine lives in Jersey, and he had a very hectic work schedule and managing a big team of designers. So, it was very hard to talk to him all the time, and we would go days without talking. So,
how'd you get from what in the persistence though made you go from heck no to like, okay, you can buy me dinner?
The first date, actually, we just meshed so well.
What was the first date?
We had coffee.
Okay.
And it was just at Starbucks. Nothing crazy. I actually had to go pick him up. And he had none of his.
Oh, because he wouldn't have a car. I just got that. Yeah. All right.
So, he had none of his, no clothes to change into. Like, he literally, like, just worked out. He's super sweaty. And, he just kept being persistent with me. And it just took one little coffee date.
Did you feel kind of trapped? Like, okay, this dude's got no car, and you have to take him, and
100%.
if halfway through coffee it's not going.
I totally would have called his brother and been like, "You need to come pick up your brother."
Really? This is going so terrible. I'm going to
Pick up
leave
your
you
brother.
here. You are a gangster. Wow.
I gotta go. There's this last minute commitment that I totally forgot that I made. No, I probably wouldn't have done that, but
Depends on how bad it could have gone.
Yeah, that would have been so awkward. But
That-
no, we just clicked so well.
So coffee to how long did you guys date?
We dated about 3 years before we got engaged.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so you guys been together like
we've been
8
together
years?
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
we're what's the term?
Married?
I forget. No, there's a term. You're not actually married, but you've been together so long that like you're
Common law.
common law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made him like? What'd you do to get him to move down here?
I moved up there first and
Oh,
I tried it
snap.
out. So I lived in Jersey for not even a year.
I'm
And
learning so many things.
Hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Why?
Smells like trash. People are so mean. Rent was like $3,000
For 5 square feet.
for like nothing.
Yeah.
We lived in an amazing house. It was like $1 million home. But like you walked down 100 feet and it's like really trashy.
Okay.
Like homeless people which, hey, I mean, I can't really comment on that, but still, it was just, you're paying this much for rent and then
Yeah. So how?
the dynamic was insane.
I've only been to like New York and Manhattan, so I've never been to Jersey. How far are you from like Pauly D in the situation? Like how far you get from those guys?
I never ran into them, but we were the last exit before New York City. So we would ride the bus into the city all the time, and we were further away from that, like from the beach and all that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I am so
What is
glad
that
we're doing
noise?
this podcast. The dump trucks here with its backup siren. I think you got it, buddy. I think you're good. You can turn the
We can
sirens
hear
off
you.
now. Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, Pauly D. I never ventured out that way, so
So you were there for 9 months,
I was barely there a year.
and then now your whole family's here, and what? His whole family's here.
His family lives here too, like Macon,
Yeah.
Milledgeville. So, I gave it a shot. It was an amazing experience. We stumbled upon like little sample sales of like designer, like high-end clothing stores. Like it's just
Yeah.
things you would never happen here. Like we got to experience. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I wish I was in a little different of a like maturity.
Like now.
Yeah, like now. Like
Okay.
I feel like I would appreciate it more because that's like a once in a lifetime thing that I don't know if I'm ever going to go to New York again. We don't have family up there, and
So what eventually made you guys move back to Georgia?
me,
You were just like,
I was
got
like,
it.
I'm over this.
And you
we need
weren't
to go.
You
Go
weren't
home.
married at the time, or were?
We were.
Got it.
Yeah, so we were married. He was like, all right, I'll leave my really nice job that pays the bills really nicely, all because you aren't happy here.
Hey, that's a good dude though. Like
He's a good dude.
I know it can't be all. I hate the whole happy wife, happy life thing.
Yeah.
There's another saying that I love: happy spouse, happy house. And because it's like 50-50.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, like I'm not all about like me and my wife work together.
Right.
And but that's cool that he was able to be like, nah, I'm gonna put my whatever to the side and
The
move for
company was
you.
going downhill anyways, and like the next year it went totally under. So
So it
such a
got out
God
on
thing.
time.
We got out when we needed to.
Okay.
So,
Well, welcome to Georgia.
Welcome
Yeehaw.
to Georgia.
All right, man. So what, that's kind of cool about the past couple stories. We talked before about like what got you into fitness, like your athletic life and all that.
Yeah.
Well, you got a neat story there with gymnastics.
Yeah, so I started gymnastics when I was 4. I've always been a busybody, just always needing to be active. And that's really where I fell in love with, flips and all the things. So
Flips.
yeah.
Okay.
All
What
the
type of gymnastics? Like, what was your favorite part of gymnastics?
It
The event
was
or whatever?
actually a trampoline
Oh, geez.
division of that. So it was the trampoline, it was the floor, and then I forget the last thing. But it's all trampoline based stuff. So you're not just doing like normal flips, you're doing like elevated flips because
Double
you have
flips.
the
Yeah.
trampoline. So yeah, I loved it. I made it up to level 8.
Out of 10.
There are 10
Yeah.
levels, and then there's elite above that. Yeah, I loved it. I also did synchro, so you would have to do the same routine as your partner
Oh, with the two trampolines next to
with
each
the
other.
two trampolines next to each other.
That's sick.
It was so fun. That was looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how was I that athletic? But
That's got to be hard. Friggin', I remember being a kid and just playing break the egg on the trampoline. I couldn't imagine I'm going to synchronize backflip with my buddy.
it was so fun.
So going through all that, you talked about like you went through kind of like I don't know if you want to call it like a health transformation or you started becoming aware of fitness. You said you got really thin or
Yeah.
like what happened?
About 8th grade, our coach, I loved my coach so much, looked up to her so much, but she had no business to be giving out nutrition advice and advice in general. You're so impressionable at that age. And, I got down to like 110 pounds, maybe 100 pounds. And I'm 5'3". So that's way too skinny.
Because the advice was
you need to eat salads. You have to stay away from like ranch dressing and like even be careful of like adding too many vegetables and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no.
that's deep.
That
Yeah.
is like the total opposite of the advice I should have been given at that age.
So you wind up getting like really thin and then had that like, that sit well with you or?
You would be completely surprised. People made fun of me because I was too skinny. I was a string bean. Yeah, I got bullied a lot because of it. Yeah, so that was tough. Because you don't really hear that side of the story, and people are just mean for no reason. So, yeah, that definitely toughened me up at a young age. And, I wound up losing my period, like I've mentioned before, even on the last podcast, because I was so skinny. And the message there was, oh, like, that's good. Like, your fat is so low that you're starting to lose your period. Like, keep it up. So here I am thinking, like, oh, I'm doing a good job. I'm staying light because, you need to be light to be able to flip through the air. And, yeah, it's sad to think back on that time because things could have been really different.
Yeah, that is obviously the exact opposite of what you want. I don't know anybody who got overweight by eating too much broccoli.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane. So yeah, I think as a parent, like you don't realize like how much these coaches are making impressions on your children, like lifelong lasting impressions. So
I could see how that would stick with you for a long time.
for
like
a long
that,
time.
You're putting all your faith into this person and it's like, oh my
Well,
goodness.
she's gotten me here.
Yeah.
I've made it to level 8 in less than a year. And,
What made the change when you were like, look, I don't need to be 100 pounds?
actually an injury. It just like hit me right now.
Okay.
I got injured. I had a severe bruise on the arch of my foot and I was out for months. And just not being in that environment for a while really like helped kind of shift my perspective. And it was my wake up call to be like, oh, like, wow, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself for no reason. And you know, not being so active is actually good for you. So it's kind of the opposite for me for like what most kids probably went through, like not active enough, playing video games. And so that was my sister, actually. We could not have been more.
And you're a twin, right?
I'm a twin.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
So you got one twin that's like not really into the fitness thing.
Exactly.
And then one twin that's like
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I know a lot of twins like that. Might be fitness, might be something else, but one's like super over here and the other one's super over there. But so you had that injury and it brings you back to like, or not even back because I guess you weren't there, but helps you find the middle of like, oh, okay,
right.
I need to take care of myself, but I don't need to do like these extremes and you navigate. That was middle school. But what got you into like coaching? Because you were coaching before I met you, so you'd been doing it a while.
I have been. I've always been into helping people and just seeing how I can make an impact on their lives. And I think for me, I was seeing a lot of people just use awful form at the gym, and it's so painful to watch and just let them go throughout these movements, like using terrible form. And it's painful to watch. That's the only way I can describe it is.
No, I get it, because then they develop a bad stigma.
Right.
Like it's like, they'll squat incorrectly. Mm-hmm. Now they didn't go to squat school, right? So it's like they probably shouldn't even know how to squat, right? But then squats are bad. Squats hurt my knee.
Oh, my knees hurt now. Now I can't squat, and my doctor's telling me not to squat too. That drives me nuts.
No, I can totally get it because I'm like in it. Like I want to help you, dude. I want to help you. And the last thing I want is you thinking that the stuff you're doing is dangerous.
Right. Yeah. So it really just came from my desire to help people. I've always been a helper.
Always a helper.
Always.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you've been coaching like how long? 5, 6, 7 years?
No, I would go less than that. Probably like 5.
What?
5,
It's got to be at least 5 because you're about to go take your L2 or whatever. Yeah. And that's 5 years.
Out, so yeah.
Well, it's not out yet, but it expires at 5
Yeah.
years. So I'm like, well, that has to be like 6, 7.
Yeah. So probably more like 6.
Like you didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's been a ride.
That's cool. What's been the biggest, like, you ever had any wow factors in coaching? The biggest like aha moment or like, okay, what?
When you're like, girl, you can put on those 25s, and it's someone that's like never is used to the 5-pound plates, and then they put the 25s on, and then they're like, oh my gosh, that was easy. And you're like, yes, you have the ability to lift that weight. You are so strong.
I love seeing somebody's 100%. They can't see their 100%.
Right.
Now, you can't put them in like 120% where they fail, but like you're seeing their 100%, you're putting them in a position.
I love that moment when they're just like mind blown, like I'm way stronger than I thought I was. So
and their eyes light up and they're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, maybe even a little tear.
It's a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's cool as far as like coaching stuff. What's your favorite type of stuff to teach?
Bodybuilding. I'm obsessed.
Snap.
I love it.
Define bodybuilding.
Back squat, bench press, and then all the accessory stuff. The Arnold press,
like the
bis and tris.
Like the isolating type movements? Yeah.
I love it.
Why? Because you can like feel it so much?
Yeah. You can feel it. And you can see a difference, in my opinion, a lot faster than you can if you're just running and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's hard to like, you ever seen that movie Pumping Iron?
No.
What?
I guess I need to see that.
You need to see Pumping Iron. It's all about Arnold Schwarzenegger and winning Mr. Olympia. And and just like, I mean, he's crazy how he looks at his sculpting of his body and stuff like that. But it's like, no, I get it, because it's like power cleans are a functional exercise. You can do that one thing and get a lot of value on like 20 other things.
Right.
But you're not like feeling the power clean.
The pump, right.
Like you do, like somebody asked me yesterday doing a power clean, am I supposed to feel it here?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, but like nobody does a bicep curl and goes, where am I supposed to feel it at? Right? Like,
You know, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my jam.
That's your jam.
It used to not be. I was a runner before.
What, did you ever do like any events, like half marathon?
No, I never did anything like that. But
you just ran a lot.
I just ran a lot. Yeah. So complete opposite, and it's crazy looking back and how I thought I was going to get way too big. It's like, no, homegirl. That's not how it works.
Adding muscle is hard.
It's hard work.
Do you think adding muscle is harder or easier than losing fat?
Harder.
I would agree.
100%.
I would agree. Why do you think it's harder?
Your nutrition needs to be 100%. You need to be so dialed in. Are you getting 1 gram of protein per body weight?
Yeah.
I doubt it. Like, that's so much protein. So, yeah.
And I'm not saying either's easy. Like
Right.
losing fat is definitely challenging. I'm saying
challenging.
that like, but literally adding like 20 pounds of muscle to your body is
Years and years.
insanely challenging.
Right.
Just so much eating and so much training and so much.
You get so tired of all the food.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And again, it's not like losing weight is easy. They're both hard. You're just
It's different.
It's like saying is running a marathon in the hills or the flat easier?
Yeah.
Well, they're both marathons. Okay, they're both
Right.
very hard.
Right. One's
But,
going
yeah.
to be a little bit easier than the other one.
If you had to pick, since we're talking about like strength training exercises, if you could pick between the back squat and the dead, and I'm putting it in a spot that's totally random. If you had to pick between the back squat and the deadlift, you can only have your client do that exercise for the rest of their life. Which one do you choose?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably the deadlift.
Why?
Because how many times are you bending down and picking something up off the ground all day?
Yep.
You need to have that functional fitness. So I think, it's really tough. You can go either way for that argument.
I say deadlift.
Yeah.
And I say deadlift because the back squat passes through a long range of motion and it's very taxing on the joint. And there's the recovery rate's really long. And I also don't ever work my upper body. On a deadlift, I hang onto a bar, I start using my arms, my shoulders, my back. To your point, I'm probably hinging over more than I'm squatting more throughout the day.
Right.
So, my brain went going there because of how you said you like doing those bodybuilding type exercises, the back squat, the deadlift, the Arnold press. We do a lot of that accessory work here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know what your viewpoint on it is, but like multi-joint movement is awesome. Like,
King.
Huh?
King. It's king.
Yeah. But like, let's say you take a snatch, for example, very, very multi-joint, or a kipping pull-up, very, very multi-joint. But those dynamics can aggravate your joints a little bit. And if you slow it down, you do some bicep curls, some presses, you'll start strengthening that joint, that area so much so your injury won't happen.
Right.
I don't know if you,
100%.
okay.
I agree.
Great. If you agree, we're good to go.
All right. That was it, guys.
So throughout like your coaching career and stuff, what's that journey been like, and ultimately how'd you wind up here at StrongSide?
Yeah, it's been very different, my coaching experience. My first gym that I was at was, I don't want to be negative, but it just wasn't right for me. I need a little more hand holding. I need a little more like structure, and this is how we run our classes. This is how I want you to do it, and these are our fundamentals here at the gym. My last one was just kind of like, oh, here you go. Good luck. Like, here's the clock. And that was it. So that was,
And
not
here,
a good experience.
You've been to the StrongSide Summit. You've been to our internship program. You've learned all about our fundamentals.
Right. It's just been so, I wouldn't change it. Anything about it. It's been a great experience.
Snap. That's cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of sliding into DMs, that's now that I think about that, that's how I got you here. Because you and I had connected in the past about some other stuff.
Right.
And I just remember being like, all right, I need to find some coaches. And like, dude, let me just tell you how when you throw out an application to the world, you get some weird applicants. So I was like, okay, we'll do that. But also, who do I know?
It's hard. It is so hard to find a good coach these days.
And I just remember sending you a text message, and I was like, I haven't talked to this girl in forever.
She's gonna say,
and I was like,
who is this?
I'm either, new number, who dis? I'm like, I'm either going to get that or I'm going to get a I'm good.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I never asked this before.
I don't even remember.
Well, I sent, what'd you think when I randomly sent you a text? Hi, we're looking for coaches. I know we've talked before. What are you doing now?
It was actually perfect timing. I was just feeling like in my real estate career, like I need a change. I need to get back to what my true passion is. Like you came in right at the right time. And I was like, all right, good. I'm listening to you. Like, thanks for the sign. And I was like, let's try it. Let's just try it out and see how it goes.
How have you liked it so far? You can be honest.
I loved it.
Okay, cool.
It's so good. You're like, please say something nice.
I was like, I'm walking into something like maybe she's going to unload.
Well, actually, whip out my notebook. No.
I'm glad you asked. Yeah. No. Well, that's cool, man. I think you're doing
Yeah.
a solid job. Now you talked a lot about real estate. I mean, and when you said you were in real estate, I'm like, dude, that's perfect. That's like bringing on a coach that's also a waitress. Like, you know,
Right.
like they just talk to people. They're
Exactly.
communicating like all day. But you talked a lot about in the pre-show how on the weekends you just like to chill.
Yes.
Because in here, you're giving immediate, direct, constant feedback. And then you go sell a home or whatever, and it's immediate, constant, interactive
Putting
feedback.
out fires constantly.
Before we get to you chilling on the weekend, what's a day like with your coaching here? You're probably hitting a class or so here, and then you're real estating and stuff. What's that level of like, how do you organize your freaking life?
It just depends on how many clients I'm working with at a given time. So right now it's a little bit slower, which thank God, because I needed some downtime. But it's coaching in the morning, and then I go through my emails, and then I get my workout in, and then put out any fires that need to be put out, doing the inspections, going through any amendments that need to be done. Once you're under contract, it's pretty much downhill from there. Like, you're pretty much golden after you make it through the inspection. So
Okay.
as long as nothing too crazy happens in that like 10-day period, for the most part, it's pretty smooth sailing.
And so you get through this crazy week of doing all that stuff, and then what do you do on the weekend? You said you like to do what?
So I like to just chill, work out with the husband, take the dog on a walk, try to be outside as much as possible when I'm not showing property, that is too. So
Are you most busy on the weekend? It seems like you'd be on
Yeah.
when other people are off.
yeah. So it's give and take. But we have a big team. So if I'm like, I really don't want to show this property, I can call one of my other agents and be like, hey, can you show this for me? I want to chill this weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. Just be
Yeah.
upfront about it. So you said you have a dog. Very interesting story about your
My
dog.
baby.
Your dog doesn't live with you.
No, she does not.
What's up with that?
All right. So I adopted her. I sprung her on the family. I know I'm a great daughter for just.
Like you just brought home an
I
animal?
brought home the dog, and my mom's like, whose dog is this? I was like, surprise. It's our new baby.
That's awesome.
But I was in college when I adopted her, and she's only known my parents' house. She was raised there. We tried to take her to my house, and we had literally just finished putting in new flooring, new baseboards, ripping up carpet, the whole, like all of it. It was disgusting, by the way. And she destroyed our house, absolutely freaked out, chewed up the baseboards, like she freaked out. She thought we were never coming back. So we definitely should have approached that differently. Like,
So you just borrow it on the weekends or something? You just like custody.
yeah, we have an agreement and everything with my parents. So
Is it every other weekend or every
it's
weekend?
every other weekend. Yeah.
Shut up. And holidays?
Holidays. Oh, that's tough. That's a sore subject. So
That's funny. What kind of dog is it?
she's a husky mix,
That is cute.
and we don't really know what she is. She doesn't
Okay.
even look like a husky. But
So how old is it? What, 7, 8?
she's 8.
Okay.
She's getting old, getting more gray in the nose, but she loves my parents, and my parents love her. So I really don't think that they say she's annoying, but they love her so much.
My father-in-law used to do that. He had this dog, and he's like, this dog is, just crazy or whatever. And it's the screensaver on his phone.
Right.
And I'm like, you loved
We
that
wake
dog.
up when I lived there. He would sing to her in the mornings, like on his way to work, like leaving the house. He would go, "You was kind, you was beautiful, you was smart."
Wow.
Yeah, so they love her.
Yeah, they love that dog for sure. That's funny. So have you ever had any other animal besides dogs?
Just dogs. We had a cat a long, long time ago, and he was from hell.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How
Satan.
did you keep that cat?
When we moved to Florida, my parents said that they gave him away to a good family.
No, he went to a farm,
We found out what really happened later on.
which was
Put him down.
no. It was that annoying.
He was old. He was mean. Yeah, he was not a good cat. I
Okay.
don't like cats.
All right.
Oh, maybe blur blur that out.
No, I mean different. I I don't long to have cats, but I could do a cat because they're so independent.
They are independent.
Like I'm just gonna go away from the
leave them
weekend.
for
Yeah.
like a week, and they're good.
Yeah. I know we just have the one dog, the one, and he's like our baby.
Of course.
But that's about it.
He's cute.
Yeah. What is kind of shifting gears a little bit? We talked about this before. So like your whole story with nutrition and fitness and all that kind of stuff, you talked a lot before about, like when I say before, like our pre-show, about the basics. And when you're looking at the industry as a whole, when you're looking at fitness, you're like, dude, people just need to really understand the basics. If you could pick something, or maybe it's a few things to dial in to where the average person needs to focus on these priorities. I don't know if it's not like you have to have bullet points, but you made some good points about like, hey, if you're not sleeping, you don't really need to worry about like, is your salmon organic?
Right. All right. So I think in the fitness industry, my biggest pet peeve is people think that there is this magic pill that they can take and it's going to override some of the things that they're missing in their life, or they just expect this to be like a glamorous journey, and I don't want to say it's not, but it's not. You know, like, are you pooping at least once a day? Are you sleeping 8 hours a day? There are a lot of bigger things that need to be tackled before we can even look into your nutrition and working out even.
You made a good point, not to cut you off, but you made a good point about like, oftentimes people jump to and to preface this, we also have no education, like as humans, like as Americans, like it's not like we went to school to learn how to do this. I understand that most people are just out in the world trying to make good decisions, but it's a very important topic that we're not educated on. And you made a good point that they jump straight to like, this, like I'm going to do a paleo diet, or I'm going to do a cleanse. And the thing might not be bad. Like, but what you're saying is like, that's awesome that you want to do this diet.
I'm glad you're so excited.
But if you're also not drinking water, if you're also not sleeping, if you're not doing the fundamentals, like it sounds like that's what you're saying. Like there's a fundamental piece.
100%. Like bring it back to the basics. Let's really examine where you truly are, like from a true lens, instead of, people tend to over exaggerate where they really are. So I think, it's just getting real with your client. Like, where are you at with these?
So I'm your client.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. I've done juice cleanse to McDonald's to workout 5 days a week. I work out 1 day a week, whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's scattered. Give me three basic things that I need to do.
You need to drink half of your body weight in water.
Like in pounds?
I don't know.
Ounces.
Ounces.
I did that on purpose. Yeah. All right, half my body weight in ounces.
In ounces. You need to sleep at least 8 hours a night. And then, what's my last little thing? Water, sleep. And then let's see where we're at protein-wise.
What should I be at?
At least 1 gram per pound of body weight.
So I'm
on the higher end. That's pretty high.
So I'm 175, so I need 175 grams of protein.
Ish. I would recommend that.
That's not unreasonable. So if I eat 5 times a day, that's roughly 30 grams of protein.
Right.
I mean, that's a little over, but a protein shake, I'm looking at our protein bags over here. That's one protein shake is 26 grams or something like that.
Almost 30 grams there.
Chicken breast is 25, 26. I mean, I can get there a lot of ways.
Exactly.
So why the protein?
It's the basis of everything in the body. You need that for hormones, for all your bodily functions. Like, you need protein. It's like the basis of everything.
Yeah, I'm going to get more of a bang for my buck out of protein than, folk. No, I agree with you, because nobody's searching to find more carbs.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if you can tell somebody to eat their body weight, and body weight or desired body weight. Like if I weighed 200, I want to weigh 150, then eat 150. But you focus on that, you'll get your fats and your carbs in.
100%.
Rather than telling somebody, hey, measure your carbs. It's easy to eat birthday cake, dude.
Right.
Very easy.
Yeah. Let's start with those 3 things and see where we're at. I don't want to throw 20 different things at you, because that's so overwhelming as someone like new And even those that have experience, like, I don't know about you, but if I threw 10 things at you right now to do all at once, like, that's too much.
No. And even all great people, when you're like, oh, they think that their experience can handle more, probably not. They're probably really good at like the 5 to 7 things they do every day.
Right.
And they're just really, really good at those 5 to 7. They don't do 50 things.
Right.
I know I don't. I have my nutrition plan down. I have, my daily routine down, and I just try to dominate that.
Right.
Every day. And I think the sleep thing's big. I agree with you on that, because you can hustle through a task. I only slept 3 hours. I'm going to get it. And I've been guilty of that before too.
Right.
And it's like, a check mark, I'm going to get through this day.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is at such a low quality.
Exactly. And there's no restorative, your body's not able to restore itself. So you're running on E.
Yep. And the water will help me poop. And you mentioned that earlier.
Right.
And if I don't poop, my digestive system's terrible.
Right.
And then if my digestive system's terrible, nothing's good.
Nothing's
Serotonin
good.
is not good. I'm not happy.
Yeah, it throws everything off.
Yeah. What was the biggest, or I don't even know if you can think about it, where you did something in your nutrition and you saw like just massive, like, I don't know, like I'm just watching you drink water. Did you ever like not drink water and then drink water and you were like, holy cow?
Word. Yeah. When I was little, I thought it was normal to just poop once a week. I thought that was normal.
Around your 100-pound time?
Around my 100-pound time. Yep. No one told me. I had no idea. Even going to the doctor and telling them, no one ever told me. That's so messed up.
They might just view it as common.
Common, but not normal. So yeah, water. That made the biggest thing for me, biggest impact.
I literally just made that up right now. That was the biggest impact. Huh.
Yeah.
And so half my body weight in ounces of water throughout the day, speed up my metabolism, help me poop. Great. If you guys don't get anything else out of this podcast, that's the answer. Yeah. Are you selling any houses today?
No, not today.
What's your busiest day? I know we're like ping-ponging around the subjects, but what's your busiest day?
Probably a weekend, Saturday. That's when clients are coming into town. That's when builders are having their like open houses and stuff like that. It's definitely a weekend, but I'll say that, and then like the most random thing will happen as soon as I leave here, and then
you'll have to
go deal with that.
What's been your 2 favorite parts of being here at STRONGSIDE? And I'm not asking that in like a me type way. Like, what's something you've connected with our members, or like a neat experience that you've had?
Well, probably first of all, being on this podcast. This is super fun.
Yay.
And exciting. And it's like, do you guys really want to hear about my life? Like,
they're digging it. Look at all these comments. We have never had this many comments. Look at that. I keep scrolling.
We broke the internet.
Yeah, but don't though. Keep staying on. Keep watching.
Okay, what are the 2 biggest things from being here at STRONGSIDE? Making connections with people that are interested in the same things I'm interested. And I can say poop 20 times on this podcast, and you guys are like, yeah, like we need to talk about that kind of stuff.
You know that's going to be your thing now.
Yeah.
People are going to come to you all the time. Be like, guess how many times I pooped?
Yeah. I think that sums it up.
All right, so poop, number 1. And then what's another one? Like, we got some cool people here. If you connect, I know you got like your group now, 5:15, 6:30, 7:45.
Yes.
Met some cool people.
I've met some really cool people.
You've evolved a lot.
I have, and I've grown so much. Thanks for staying with me, guys. I know it was a bit rough in the beginning. I'm shy. It takes a minute for me to open up to people. So.
Yeah, but I think you have like a flame that's in there. It's like a flamethrower. Like it wants to come out.
It does. Yeah, so I'm working on it, guys.
When it comes out, it is a flamethrower. Like you command, it's like, oh, snap. All right, listening. And it's good. I mean, you're a good coach. It's really good information. It's solid work. So.
All based on all the comments and process from you, so.
I don't know. We're just all trying to get a little bit better every day. Well, cool, man. I hope everybody got to learn a little bit more about you.
Yes.
You already just got a comment. Pooping is king. So I told you that's going to be your thing now. Yep. You just created your own shtick. All right. So, but thanks for coming on. I'm happy that you're here. I think you're doing a great job. Let's just rock and roll.
This was so fun.
Boom.
All right. Bye, y'all.